I think there's something romantic about like analog because I heard a Prince album on vinyl. I heard "Let's Get Crazy." I'm like,
Oh, dude.
I heard this
Scorcher.
song, right? Like I'm hearing this song in a completely different context because I just heard it on the radio.
So
a
many
lot.
more like levels of.
That song's a banger, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
man.
there was this fun poster in the what's that tape magazine, Tape Op, where they illustrated. Because I'm such a visual person, so they illustrated this like bunny drawn out in the different ways that you can record music, and analog's this like beautiful picture with all these details, and
see
it's
that.
very. Oh, it was in the studio recorded, and I've looked at. I spent hours staring at it because recording takes a while sometimes, but yeah, it's all the little details of the flowers, of the way that things are shaped, and the atmosphere of which you can create music is, I feel, what analog gives in those instances. So yeah, it makes sense to me that would feel totally different.
Yeah. I mean, I think like there's just certain instruments that sound really dope on tape. Like drums sound
Oh.
amazing on tape. Vocals sound really good on tape. You can get away with doing them digitally, I think. But like mainly drums, man. Like I like tracking drums on tape if I can. Live drums,
Yeah, it does like a lot of like older like hip hop albums that sample live drums sound fantastic.
Oh yeah, like
if you're
Wu-Tang
listening-
records and
Yes,
stuff. Dude,
exactly.
they like nailed that drum sound,
Yeah.
man.
Exactly. Like hearing I have the first Wu-Tang album on tape. It sounds extraordinary.
Yeah.
So goddamn good. But I think digital drums sound incredible too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
some people can pull it off, man,
Yeah.
Like they know if you know what you're doing and stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think you two have had the experience of being in a studio in a more professional setting, so to speak, for lack of a better term, and recording, I guess, in a DIY sense, in a train yard
all set
or
up, rented
in your
microphones.
bedrooms.
Yeah.
Like what are some of the differences or positives and negatives of recording in those two kinds of like mediums, so to speak?
Well, I would say right off the bat is the lack of pressure with time
Yeah,
when
time,
you're recording
for
on
sure.
your own, because you're given a little bit more creative freedom to kind of play around, or your equipment more than you would maybe in a studio where there's a bunch of new things that you have never played with before. If you had more time in the studio, that would be great, because then you could really kind of sit down with those things. But we tend to kind of demo stuff out at the house a lot, or like outside of practice, and that's when I feel like we really get the essence of the song, when we're not in like a space that's kind of demanding us to work so fast, or I feel that pressure in a studio. So I would say that's like the biggest factor, is kind of this freedom to experiment a little bit more when you're in like a DIY space or something that you set up on your own.